Coconut. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Oh my gosh. It's been like a month since we actually played Venture Maidens. But thank you all so much for being here last time for our 1 million party. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
that was a good time.
That was the last time. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, yeah. So in my notes, last time we played was, last month on the 10th. So just under a month. So that's very exciting. I am stoked.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. We made it. We made it again. It's back. Episode 85. You know, that's so close to 100. We're creeping up, which is amazing. Yeah, so as some of you can see, Brittany is going to be hopping in just a little bit later, but we're going to go ahead and get this party started. Oh, man, I think I have to update Streamlabs because my chat's disappearing. 1 second.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, okay, intro banter. Wow. Hi, everybody. My name is Celeste Kotowich, and tonight I will be your dungeon master.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I'm going to be playing Farah Valen, the tiefling sorceress, not a cleric.
Not a cleric.
Are you sure?
TM, not a cleric.
I'm pretty sure, maybe.
I don't know. I keep calling you a cleric, so I think that's probably right.
If I can have cleric hit points, you guys can start calling me a cleric.
Now.
Valid.
I don't know. I feel like I'm always getting people's classes wrong, especially now that Kara isn't just a barbarian anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What is life? I'm Nassim, and I'm playing your human monk, Sayanur.
And I, Sage, am your boot-knocking barbarian and cleric, Kara Brynhilda.
Oh, it's finally labeled. Okay, barbarian and cleric. There we go.
Barbarian and cleric. I just can't fit barbarian cleric on the overlay, so we just kept it barbarian forever.
Cleric.
Yay! Oh, I love that you all are using our new emotes. Katie was super awesome and figured that out for me, so that was great.
They're all so cute.
Yes. Also, I don't know if you all have your crowns within reach, but I did promise one of our charming Discord folks that as a birthday wish, Mr. Thick, I would grant you all inspiration for this game. So
I have to go get my crown.
Go get your crown.
Go.
Okay, be right back.
We see you, Norman, in chat. I didn't forget. But this also means that I, too, will have inspiration for the emotes that I can use. Because you said all of them. And it's me, too, buddy. So,
That's true. That is valid.
Yes! Yeah, I should have warned Nassim to get her crown beforehand. Whoops. See, I just keep mine right here constantly on the desk in my dice tray, which I also constantly keep in my desk. So.
Same.
Because sometimes when I'm just sad or too busy, I'll just put on the crown and then I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's many a pajama and crown days for me, usually accompanied with a bottle of wine.
Yay!
That's my go-to.
That sounds like the best day.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect day.
Every day can be that day if you just try hard enough.
All right, so now that we all are inspired, we're ready to go. What happened last time? A month ago, boy, it was a doozy, though. We had some spicy times. So, y'all want to tell me a little bit about that?
Didn't we start with Farah's blackout?
Yes, we started with the more of that conversation with the Sisters of Sorrow. So, how did that go, Farah? What happened?
Yeah, it was pretty chill, you know. We were just chatting, and they were like, hey, we don't think that we can have Isolde be the leader of the Sisters of Sorrow anymore because she's fraternized with our enemy. And I was like, no, it's fine. Kara's totally going to romance her, and she's not going to care about that at all. And they were like, what? Romance? We don't care about that.
This isn't Dragon Age. Romance doesn't change the story path.
But it always could be. There's always an opportunity for it to be. And so basically, Farah discussed further with them and kind of came to the conclusion that they were going to get rid of Isolde either way. So she was just like, okay, I'd rather it be me where I can kind of have some control over this situation, but please don't like get rid of her, just move her position. And they were like, well, I don't think people can return from, you know, messing with the enemy. And I'm just like, well, I believe in redemption. And they were like, all right, whatever. Do your job. Bye.
You can leave now.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Aunt.
Mhm. And then what happened when you boofed back into reality?
So I was like, oh shit, we got to go back. I got to talk to you guys about something. And then Farah talked to everybody and kind of laid down what happened and was like, you know, I really am not that comfortable with this situation. I honestly didn't know that I was going to be long term in this group, though I love you guys and it's great. It's also very terrifying. And now it seems like I'm here to stay. And everyone was like, no, you're going to do great, babe. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. And we were like, we're going to celebrate. But then all of the rest of the crew that we lost in the desert, oh my God, what are all their names?
There's
All
like 8 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
Ravane
million
and
people.
Northwind and Lou and Lola and Lucky.
Most importantly,
And
Lady
Amy.
the dog.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember that name. But yeah, they all showed up covered in all this kind of shit. And so we got them rooms and we just kind of drank and had fun. And then at the end of the night, as Farah was going to go to sleep, there was a knock on her chamber door.
Yes. And rapping upon that chamber door was none other than Kara as Carl, wearing the circlet of human perfection and not much else. Being like, hey girl.
I died again when I had to like re-edit that. It's just like
I listened to that episode in my car today while I was driving dogs around, and I was like dying on my steering wheel. I was like, this is not safe. I need to pull over.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
fucking funny.
lots
We
of-
rolled really great on our performance checks. for
yeah,
that
no, you had a
evening.
great time.
It was good. Yeah, it was exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah. Stress relieved.
Nothing like casual sex with your friends.
Just
Friends
relieve
with
some
benefits.
tension.
When there's an understanding is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's truly.
Boy.
But yeah, so they passed out after the deed, and in the morning, Arnie came to the door because she had heard news from Aaron that Valerius was missing, and Isolde is freaking the fuck out. And she walks in and she sees her 2 Nike friends and is like, okay, this is processing, does not compute. I'll see you guys downstairs. And we basically just ended up going downstairs and we all met down there with Ravane, and that's where we left off.
Yeah. Yeah, so what Nassim?
Oh, I'm just still a little annoyed that Arnie is refusing to tell me what the
Yeah.
fuck she
You
saw.
have no idea what happened. She's just been weird.
She's being so weird. She knows something, and I'm like, hello, I need the information
Tell me
to survive.
what is happening.
It's hilarious because Farah would not care about telling her at all, but she also doesn't think enough of it to say anything.
God. Oh. it's a
I mean, I
nightmare.
get Nassim gets that it's all casual and whatever, not a big deal. But to Saya, she was there when the sexual tension got ignited.
Yeah.
So she would be
See
stoked.
this arc
to hear this
completed.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. Truly. Yeah, so that is where we are picking up. You are all currently in the bar room of the Githyanki Doodle, where you have been staying in this moving bazaar that's, being pulled by a ginormous earth elemental across the Kronos Desert. You had been chatting with Ravane about basically what to do next at this point. You know that at the end of tomorrow, the earth elemental is going to get you to your destination, so to the Vale, and more specifically, Ravane had mentioned to a place called Outpost 7, which is one of several of these outposts where mages basically reside and maintain this magical defense called the Vale. That kind of shields this country from any monsters or attackers that might come through the mountains. So you basically have a day at this point to do whatever you would like, kind of wrap up your business. Ravane has said, they're going to try and get some supplies for his crew. And then the general decision was that once you get to this place, you'll probably enlist the help of mages to, send some messages, get maybe a little bit more information about what exactly is happening at the Elysium Keep, because you've gotten some fragmented information that leads you to believe that things are not going so great. So at the end of that conversation, Ravane, had kind of finished his coffee and then stood up to go about his business. So unless there's anything else you want to say to him, he's going to head out and busy himself throughout the day.
Nothing in particular. I think we kind of discussed our plan that we would separate so that we could get some people teleported to the keep and get that under control. And we were going to meet up with oh my god, what was their name? What's the name of the person we're looking for? The mage?
Anjou Elodie. Yeah, and she's the one who apparently she wrote that giant codex that was destroyed in Kratos's library underneath Phelan. So he basically pointed you to her and was like, hey, she wrote all these books. She's going to be the best primary source to find out about Meditios, this supposed maker of the Avatar.
Super
Well,
powerful.
I mean, there's your evidence right there, Farah, that clearly some new leadership might do the Sisters of Sorrow some good. I don't know if that'll make you feel any better.
They're all freaking out.
They're all scattered and crazy.
To be honest, if I was there and Valerius disappeared, I'd probably be freaking out too. But
Yeah.
I'm not there and I can't do anything. So this is fine.
Maybe he went on his own volition. We don't know.
That's true. He does have a lot of contacts. Maybe he's just trying to find some shit out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or he's with Rem.
Mm-hmm. Trying to play it cool. Can I roll? Let's see.
She got no.
An insight check.
Girl hungry.
Yeah, an insight check just to see if anyone else is being super sus like Arnie, and like if there's other information that other people know and aren't telling me, and I'm just the only one out of the loop.
Yeah, sure. So Ravane goes. So it's just the four of you sitting around the table. So I guess make an insight check for read the room, I guess.
Yeah. I got a 17.
Okay. I mean, what do you think? Is Kara or Farah any different than usual, or?
So Kara definitely doesn't appear that much different after a night of drinking, I would say.
Yeah.
Just kind of lackluster, choking down some coffee, tired because Arndale got us up at fucking 6 a.m. after we all had a rager, and it's just like, why am I awake right now?
Like this?
Why are you like It's like falling asleep at the table.
Yeah, and Farah is she's probably like eating more than usual. Like she's kind of fucking ravenous. And she's drinking a lot of water.
Are you hungover from a rough night?
Hydration, suspicious.
Oh,
is that water?
suspicious.
What is this?
Looks like your nerves about the new job may have subsided. Did you release a little tension last night?
Yeah. I did.
You're glowing.
Thanks. I had great sex.
Oh yeah,
it
happened.
Yeah, Carl paid me a visit.
That's cool. I mean, goddamn, finally.
I think Arnadel stands up and is like, I have to go. And then leaves.
Yeah, it was really cool, I would say. Yeah, 10 out of 10 cool. It was nice.
Ooh, wait.
Kara definitely looks very smug and spitting with herself, like, yeah.
Was it with Carl, or was it
Oh,
Kara,
yeah.
or was it?
That's more my speed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so, that circlet of protection, it's not an exaggeration then.
Yeah, absolute perfection in the, that situation, I would say.
If we have a secret handshake right now, Kara, we're doing it.
We totally have a secret handshake.
Okay. Cool.
Under the table, you're like tap tap, nice.
Yeah.
The community.
Oh my god. Yeah, so basically we have like the rest of today and then sort of all of tomorrow. So I'll hand it over to you if there's any conversations you want to have, anything specifically you want to do. Otherwise we can definitely just fast forward through time. So anything you want to get while you're here in the bazaar, anyone you want to check in with or talk to.
We spent all of our money.
You have no money.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
We broke.
Car would definitely have a nap.
Yeah.
And then have lunch. And then eventually would try and track down Saye.
Saya is probably wandering around trying to see if there's like a fitness club around that she can join for a day pass, maybe sweat out some of the toxins from the weekend, a lodge of some kind, a spa, some kind of rejuvenation is what she's looking for.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a percentage roll and we'll see what we can come up with.
Oh my god, Mind Flare Spa.
Oh no.
Oh my god, for the what are they called? Jesus Christ.
40%.
Okay.
Think of it.
So I think you're walking around. You're looking for something. Really, not any kind of fitness club isn't popping up as you're kind of wandering around. You do see like a sign that's like maybe it's a massage thing. You see like a big picture of like a foot, like maybe acupuncture, something like that.
Oh, I love acupuncture. Yes, I used to do it all the time. It's been so long. I'm in.
Okay, awesome. So you step into this, like, you kind of duck and get into the shop here. And it's a nice, very clean little space. They've got a few chairs set up here, lots of potted plants around. And behind the counter is like this giant warforged person who's just like kind of bulks up the room, like with their, their metal and like wooden plating. And they're wearing like this little like white apron. And as you step in, they go, "Greetings! Are you here for acupuncture?"
Oh, indeed I am. Every one of these places is just filled with such interesting characters. I really like it here. Nice to meet you. I'm Saya.
Oh, my name is Copper. It's a pleasure to meet you. And they offer out this like giant robot hand.
Oh, I give them my whole arm.
Well, if you'd like to take a seat, we can get started. And he like holds up his hands, and then all of a sudden like needles like pop out of his skin. He's able to like transmute his metal. And he kind of looks at you and like
Cool
smiles.
Oh, this is a new experience. Let's do it. I lay down on my back.
And oh my god, let's see how this goes.
Oh no!
And that's how Saye died.
Oh, I'm gonna roll.
I can't feel my legs.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll these new dice that we are running a giveaway. About halfway through the stream, we'll be giving these away. But they're these really beautiful. They're called Water Walk from RPG Dice. And they are like these cool kind of see-through teal dice. So stick around to the middle of the stream. We'll be announcing that giveaway. So here we go, and I'll let you know how they roll, everybody. It's a preview. Oh, okay. So yeah, at first it's a little bit jarring. You think probably the needles are, well, they're much longer than, what you're used to. So it's like sort of stabbing pain at first. But after a while, your back kind of adjusts to it, and you get like the sweats out, for that first round of pain. And then all of a sudden it feels really nice. Like, you just feel tension kind of, going away. And you hear like, the Warforge is sort of making this thrumming sound, like when you imagine like Star Trek engines, how they make the boom 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 kind of sound. And it's like, it's sort of pleasant and like rhythmic and kind of lulls you into a nice meditative state almost. So I think you have a very pleasant experience.
Oh yeah, she probably got a little bit of drool as she drifts off.
Yeah. Definitely. And Farah, what are you up to? While Kara's napping and Saya is getting acupuncture from a warforged.
Yeah, I think that Farah does also want some R&R, but she's not willing to go out anywhere in her current state. So she's probably just gonna like look into the questionable hot tubs and just try to find one with no floaties, if you will.
Yeah.
And just like slowly goes in and just acclimates herself to the off-putting scent. And accepts this.
Yeah, I will say a couple of them are actually quite clean because since the last crew got in, you know, when Ravain and Co showed up, they were covered head to toe in dirt and they were directed towards these tubs. So it looks like after that mess, somebody, probably your very best friend, had to go in and clean these up. So Wesley has been at these tubs recently, so you feel pretty confident that this is as clean as it ever gets.
Or Wesley Bones.
Oh, Wesley. Oh, Wesley Bones.
He works hard for his money.
He does. If he gets paid. Who knows?
But yeah, so she just gets in her tub and kind of like spreads herself in such a way that she's not inviting anybody else to come join her.
Yeah, the obnoxious, like, put your feet up on everything. Yeah.
Tail all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if it's not obvious enough, just kind of splash it around, you know, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, she'll just get some rest there for a couple hours, and she'll eventually go back up into her room and do her morning prayers since she didn't have time.
Yeah.
Just asking for guidance on her path because it's new and scary.
Yeah. And you know, you send out your prayers and they're comforting to you, but it's sort of odd because, you know, you've recently had like 2 up close and personal experiences with these gods. And so when you send off these prayers and you don't hear an answer, like, how does Farah feel about that?
Certainly isn't comforting. Like, I think she gets the comfort out of the ritual of it, you know, for a second. And then when she's all done, she just kind of sits on her bed and just starts kind of like fiddling with her fingers because she's like almost waiting for something. And then when it doesn't come, she kind of views it as like, you know, they're like the principals of this world. And maybe she can speak to teachers and stuff, but you got to really sign up for a meeting to speak to them. So she's just like, kind of files it away that she's like, all right, so I don't get any cool perks. I just got to do more work. It's like real life.
Yeah, and so I think Saya, you know, after this acupuncture wraps up, and the Warforged Copper will turn to you and be like, I hope you had an extremely pleasant experience. Are you staying nearby? Do you happen to have one of our coupons?
Well, I'm over at the Gif Yankee Doodle. Was that what it was called?
Yeah. Oh,
the
yes.
Gif Yankee Doodle.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't really given a coupon, but I mean, I had an excellent time, and you deserve more than all the tips. So I tipped very generously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, if Wesley recommended you to us, please thank the dear lad.
Oh, I will.
And tell him he should, if he ever leaves, he should come down. I think
You
we
know
could
what?
really help him.
Do you have a coupon? I'll give it to him. It'll be a little thank you for his generosity while we were staying over there. If you don't mind, I would love to leave him with a little something because you know he works his bones to the ground.
Yes. Wonderful. And the Warforged kind of shuffles behind the counter and digs around and kind of brings out a box and brings out just this like really gorgeous like gift card that like kind of like shimmers like silver and gold, and he like with his giant fingers like puts it in this like really loving little envelope and like wraps it and like puts a little wax on it and like stamps it, and it's like, please do get him in here if at all possible. He is a walking ball of nerves. Everybody on the street thinks so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do my very best.
All right. Well, you take care and make sure not to lift anything or do anything too strenuous while your body adapts.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you very much.
Of course.
I was just like, dang it, I was about to go work out, but fine. All right, then I guess I'll stroll peacefully on the way back to the Gith Yankee Doodle to take a nice nap and feel the rejuvenation.
Yeah. So I think if you want, before that happens, Kara, you can find Saye walking back and have your.
As Saye is walking back and looks to be heading back up to her room, Kara will like head out and like stop her before she heads in and be like, "Hey, so I don't know if you want to do this now, but we can wait. But I mean, we never really got to finish hashing shit out, and I just wanted to apologize for, you know, the way I acted out in the desert outside of the lion cave, and it wasn't cool to explode on you like that."
Wow. I wasn't expecting. I didn't need you to apologize at all. I mean, I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Kara. I could only imagine how upset you were. Rightfully so. I kept you guys in the dark, and it's not very a friendly thing to do. I just really didn't know how to tell you guys. And I mean, after all we've been through, I should have just sucked it up and brought it to you first. But I mean, I was scared too. We were all like scared about losing our leader, and I think that might have pushed me into doing it alone. But I'm still glad you were there to take the message, and that you've come to this point of understanding, I think. And I do apologize too. I am truly sorry for keeping you in the dark.
Yeah, no, I just, you know, like my dad would always say, you know, sturdy as a rock, stubborn as a rock, and that's always been me. And when people don't do things in the way that I do them, you know, I'm working on it. She kind of like nods, like, but I think you did the right thing, and I commend you for thinking about that and taking it on.
Oh, Kara.
You're extra emotional right now. You know, after you have a
Yeah.
massage or acupuncture,
There's
just
nothing
feel so
blocking it.
emotional.
Yeah,
you're
it's all
like,
just flowing right now. You're
My
getting a
chakras are
hug.
clear.
I
Yeah, no, and she like
fall on
immediately-
top of you.
She just opens her arms and you just kind of like crumple on top of her.
Oh,
Baby, my best friend, I love you so much. You're my sister, and I'm so sorry I didn't tell you. And I mean, I've been left in the dark before by you guys when you go and you do something by yourself. And I wish I had listened to how angry I was whenever that happened to me. But now I did it to you, and I'm so sorry.
And Cara's like also like a little overwhelmed and like stiffens up for a second, but then it's just like gently pat Saya's back. It's like, it's okay. And you know, well, I mean, you know that Gidget and I broke up. Well, I mean, kind of broke up. Well, I mean, okay. Things have been hard recently, and I'm coming to realize that you all are the only family I've really got left, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I also kind of eavesdropped on that moment that was private to you, but I just want to be there for you. Any chance you need me, even if you think you don't, I'm gonna force myself there, because you're right. You're my sister. You guys are my family, and I'll do anything for you.
She
I feel
smiles.
so much better, Cara. I'm so glad you found me and we talked.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, if you're still holding on to anything with Gidget, I just had a great session of acupuncture over there. I don't remember what the business was called, but it was very,
There's
very
definitely no
beautiful.
sign. That's
Yeah,
how you know it's one of the good ones.
Yeah, it's very minimalistic, very serene. I highly recommend it.
And she looks at you like, oh, no. I'm saving it up till after we save the world, and then I'll treat myself to a good old-fashioned hot stone massage.
Oh, I'm there with you. That sounds amazing.
Hell yeah. All right. So the rest of the night, I think it's pretty relaxing. And we can roll on into the next day. You think maybe like 5 o'clock or so is when you're gonna get there, so you have a few more hours. Any final things before time moves forward?
Hmm.
Do you need
think
more
so.
rope? You got enough rope?
That's always
300
good.
feet of rope.
300 rope!
I just give Wesley, I don't know if our last day has any interaction with him, but in the morning I'll leave the coupon on the bed and like a little thank you note and another tip.
Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's around. He's sweeping things or lifting things, or he never seems to leave. Every time you go downstairs, he's in the lobby. So,
Okay.
so he's always around. It gives you kind of a nod, a confused nod, like when you all head out. You pack up your stuff and get ready to head towards kind of the edge, so you can climb down off the Earth Elemental. You can definitely tell that the speed has picked up. I mean, the Earth Elemental did, say, okay, I can't go mega fast or I'll kill everyone. But there's a breeze now that moves through the bazaar as this Earth Elemental is just hauling its way towards the edge of the desert. And it is that like 5 p.m. point when you finally feel that movement cease. And it's like this one kind of, like when you step off of a ship onto land for the first time in a while, there's like this weird kind of movement as everything just stands still as the Earth Elemental stops. And you look up at the sky here, and it's just that beautiful painted, sunset that you can only see in the desert with tones of purples and oranges and reds painting the sky as you make your way towards the edge here. Accompanied by Ravane and Northwind and Amy and Lou and Lady, the whole crew. As you kind of climb down from this point. And a bunch of people also come out of their houses and shops and sort of like look around suspiciously and look up at the sky and chatter amongst each other, because this isn't a stop that they ever anticipated having. So there's just kind of general confusion amongst the streets.
As we stop, Car immediately turns to everyone and was like, shit, do we have to file a permit to disembark?
Not if we run fast enough.
Not if we haul ass!
Go!
God damn. Yeah. So
A brief thank you and goodbye to the giant rock primordial. Thank you.
Yeah. So as you do, like, the bazaar kind of settles down onto the ground, as the sheet that sort of holds up this bazaar flattens out without any motion here. So it's really easy just to climb off and step once again onto the sands of the Kronos Desert. But here, since you're at the desert's edge, as you look around, the sand here, you can tell it doesn't go so deep, that there is like packed dirt and rock somewhere underneath your feet. And you look off now to the west, you can see there are these massive mountain ranges here. And so the desert itself kind of fades into, this rocky sort of barren outcropping before reaching the mountains proper. And again, just this beautiful sky outlines these mountains, which you can see at their very peaks are topped with snow. Yeah. And so as you all disembark, the Earth Elemental, it does turn its like massive form towards you. It's kind of hard to tell where a head is. You don't really see eyes or anything, but you get the sense that it's looking at you and kind of watching you go.
ooh, being watched by a mountain. A little bit unsettling, but
yeah.
uh,
Yeah. You do also see that several patches like along this earth elemental kind of poke up and like form into those, those humanoid sort of shapes you saw before as they pop out, and they also seem to watch you go.
The babies.
Yeah. Little babies.
Wave.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
And as the mountain, the earth elemental begins to creak and move as it starts to pick up speed once again, you swear you hear a, hey, wait, I got a ton of paperwork.
Go.
as the elemental pulls away from you. And so at this point, you're just like surrounded. This big desert is behind you. These like awful, inhospitable mountains loom in front of you. And it's honestly hard to determine where exactly you're supposed to go from here.
Oh my god.
But
I should have bought hiking boots.
yeah. But Ravain seems to know what he's doing, and he starts just heading towards the mountain range.
Follow Ravain.
Yeah. Follow anyone who knows, like they looks like they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
yeah. How long, Ravain, do you think this hike might be?
I mean, we should reach the very base of the mountains. That's where the entrance to the outpost is hidden. Probably, like an hour's walk? He's, like, kind of looking, trying to gauge the distance. At least that thing dropped us off at, well, perfect timing, quite honestly.
Oh, thank God. I can handle an hour. Okay.
And the mages do keep close watch out. So just, generally look non-threatening would be my advice to you as we approach.
Kara, like, looks over herself like, I don't know.
If I
Am I
be
doing
honest.
it? I don't. That's kind
Is
of
it?
like really big, like toothy
Ooh.
grin. Is just like
Not so much teeth.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh,
less teeth. Yeah. And he laughs and he's like, they've certainly seemed worse. I mean, just don't make any quick moves, perhaps. We also aren't expected, so this might be a bit of a shock to them. Usually patrols come through here at scheduled rates to, resupply and everything. So this might be a little hard to explain.
yeah.
All right. Well, Farrah just starts like humming a jaunty tune, and she's like, "Let's go!" Just like
Yeah.
walking forward, very unthreatening, looking stupid.
Yeah, both Lou and Lola, are singing along the whole time with you on the back of the horse. Northwind has just been so quiet because, she took a lot of hits in this fight, and who even knows what happened. And Amy takes to the sky ahead, circling to scout above you. And so you do walk in the rapidly cooling air of the desert as you are approaching these mountains. And when you get to the point where you see the rocky hills that form the base of these mountains here, you see a figure kind of appears from nowhere and starts moving towards you. They're dressed in like a very plain kind of robe and have a wooden staff. And as you look at them from this distance, they seem strange somehow. Like their skin is almost like a pure white kind of color. But it's a little bit hard to see exactly from here.
Farrah puts up her hand. "Hello, friends. Here we are, representatives of the Sisters of Sorrow. Nice to meet you." Just like wiggles on over.
Yeah, so as you're approaching, and Ravain also like waves a hand and up into the air. And this figure moves forward at a very fast speed until they come within better view. And you recognize them. Their skin appears to be made of paper and has these like ink scrawls that kind of move across the surface. They remind you a lot of Gem, the living spellbook you met back in Phelan. Except this figure is sort of, you would say, modeled like a male appearance, kind of with like a bald head and then this almost like a monk's sort of robe. And they They stop and regard you all. We were not expecting any visitors. Who are you? What is your business?
Hello, I'm Farah, like I said, from the Sisters of Sorrow. We're actually here looking for Anjou Elodie to get some information. We were having some trouble tracking down. There was a big disaster at the library and many books were lost. So this was our next step because this was all the information we had.
Yes. And Ravain is like, I've been here many times. I'm Duke Ravain. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm familiar with you, but one of the other living spell books perhaps can pass that on. There are no remaining living spell books. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me start again then. I am Duke Ravain, and your name? And the figure kind of like frowns, and it's odd because it's, you know, like paper, like eyebrows go down. Quill.
Well, nice to meet you.
Do you have any proof that what you say is true? That you mean no harm to my community?
What kind of proof would be acceptable?
Well, you say you are from the Sisters of Sorrow. You say you are here to see Anjou. Did she contact you? Do you have a letter of invitation? Anything to prove your claim? I see no reason to trust outsiders.
Well, oh, go ahead.
Do we not have, like, I don't know, the letter still from what's their name? The Queen, Serena, about being allowed access to do research in the library.
You do still have that letter.
Right.
It was the one you showed to Jem in the library, and she definitely handed it back to you.
Okay. Then I'll first of all show them my palm that has the Sisters of Sorrow symbol. Be like, well, this is really the only identification that we could show you that we're members of the Sisters of Sorrow. But I also have this letter from the Tsarina who gave us permission to go through her royal library and archives to learn, seek out the information we're after, and which was then taken away from us. And that's where we found the information that led us here.
And he offers a hand to look at this paper.
While he sticks his hand out, I want to like check his like being to see if there was any of that like sigil that was on Jem for like the dominate whatever.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check?
That is 13.
Okay. Yeah, so you're looking, you look at his hands, which was, the place where Jem was affected. You look at, the skin you can see, the bald head, everything, but he is wearing a lot, like, heavy robes. So, I mean, you can't see anything on the skin you can see, but there's no accounting for, what might be underneath.
Okay.
Yeah, and he takes the paper. And he doesn't read it. He just holds the scroll, and you see his eyes kind of cloud over, like with this black of like ink. And then he hands it back to you and says, "This is adequate." Well, if you are to enter the outpost, I must demand that you hand over all magical items that you carry with you. If you remain and earn the trust of the mages, such items will be returned to you. It is useless to hide anything from me. I do have true sight.
That must be nice. She says she's like taking off like all of her stuff, and she's like, put like do you have like a tag? This is very valuable. I don't want it mixed up.
He pulls out of his robes just like a burlap sack and kind of opens it up like a bag of holding. He's just indicating for you to put all your shit in. And Ravain looks really shocked and annoyed by this whole like exchange. He just seems kind of miffed, but he does start like unbuckling things and like moving forward to kind of put weapons in the bag.
Yeah, because since Ravain is not bothering to hide his frustration, I think Kara would notice it and then start addressing Quill and be like, "What? Okay, so you said that there are no other spell books left. What happened to the rest of you? Was there an attack?"
It is not my place to explain, but I am the only living spellbook remaining at this outpost. My creation was necessary and quite immediate.
Huh. All right. Continuing. Sword, ring of protection.
Yeah, throw it all in the bag, yeah. And once you do so, and it takes a while to get like Northwind to give up her axe in particular, and Ravain has to kind of like pull her to the side and like argues back and forth a whole bunch. And then she eventually turns around, she's like, "It's fine, I can rip him apart with my bare hands." And like looks at Quill, and Quill just placidly, waits with the bag out. And then so he collects all the items, and once he looks you all up and down satisfied, he closes the bag and ushers for you all to move back towards this just wall of stone that appears to have no actual gateway or entryway at all. But once you get like towards this rocky slope, he taps the staff down on the ground a couple times, and with this blue shimmer, the rock melts away, creating a door that leads into a tunnel deeper under the mountains.
Before we enter, do we want to start our dice giveaway?
It's time! Thank you all so much for being here. You get a chance to enter to win these beautiful dice called Water Walk from RPG Dice. And RPG Dice is awesome. They make Venture Maidens branded dice. Joe, who runs it, is about to open up his shop for general orders. He also takes commissions. So specifically, if you want a specific kind of dice, a specific look for a specific character, he will take those orders through his website, RPG Dice. So yes, but enter to win these beauties. So what is the code, Sage? I refuse to say it because you made me do it.
Exclamation point moist with
That's
a capital M.
Wow.
Make sure you put the capital M. It is case sensitive.
You are a monster. I didn't do this. And look, what's really cool about these sets is that he's got a really unique D4. So it looks like a gem.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It'll actually like roll.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It reminds me of like the rupees from Legend of Zelda.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, for the D4. So very cool set.
Look at all these people unabashedly saying
moist.
in
Look
chat.
at you all, you monsters. So we are going to be pulling that at the very end of this game. So you have to stick around. Cool. Yeah, so you have this dark tunnel before you leading down into the mountains. And Quill walks ahead, seemingly unimpeded by the darkness. Do you all follow?
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And as you step down and walk into this mountain that's clearly moving down further into the center of the earth here, every once in a while you do see that these sconces on the walls alight with these different like prismatic colors. So the first set you walk by alights with red flame, and then with orange, and then with yellow as you travel further and further down. And you feel this weird sensation of power, I guess is the best way to say it. I mean, you all have encountered powerful beings and been in powerful places, but the very air here seems to thrum with arcane power. And it's kind of weird. It gives you like a heady, almost like excited feeling as you head down further into this hallway that eventually opens up into a larger cavern. And again, this place is extremely well lit. Somebody has taken a great deal of time to carve and build out these caverns, so they feel very spacious and very well taken care of. You've been underground before, and it's been weird and claustrophobic, but somehow this space doesn't seem like that. As it opens up into this large kind of central chamber, and you see that there are plants that have been like grown all over the place. There's actually grass that's been set up like in this lawn, kind of in the center of this large place. There are little like park benches. You see that there are like glowing, bioluminescent like mushrooms on the walls, but also mixed with like ferns and other kind of, it's just a really lovely sort of central garden, is the feeling you get from this chamber here.
Pretty.
Yeah, it is actually. And you see that these a bunch of tunnels lead off in different passageways. And Quill continues down one of these passages until you reach an even larger cavern at this point. And you see that carved out of stone are all of these like buildings that have been set up there, and they're lovely, like beautiful architecture just like inside of this cavern here, and set up in kind of like a little neighborhood of, there may be like 10 houses or so kind of around a central square. And you see that the square, there's like this long dining like community table that's been set up. There are actually like, pewter plates and like goblets set, so like maybe people are getting set up for dinner time. You see that there are a couple people moving around this space, walking in and out of doors freely. And as you enter this cavern, these people turn towards you kind of with just a shocked expression. So you see a human woman turns towards you first, and she's maybe like in her 40s or so. She's got like hair that was once red but is kind of graying, and she looks at you, and these people are dressed in like wizard yoga pants, whatever that would look like to you. Like the ultimate comfort of like someone who just like is constantly doing their job and like lives under the mountains. I was just like, what?
It's the Star Trek uniforms. That's what wizard yoga pants looks like.
They're in these like cool jumpsuits and like different colors. They have like stripes, and you're like, what does that mean?
My loungewear looks like shit.
Yeah, and she turns towards you all and is like, oh, hello, Ravane, it's so good to see you. And he walks forward and is like, oh, Madeline, it's a pleasure. I'm so sorry to come. It's such a strange time, but we've got a lot to tell you, and not a lot of time. So she's like, sure, okay. All right. Well, have you eaten? She looks at you all.
I'm starving.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, please, take a seat. We were about to, set out dinner. Okay. Do you need anything? Are you all right? She's looking you up and down. You don't seem injured or anything.
No, we're fine. We hitched a ride with a giant earth elemental. It was pretty smooth going for us.
Yeah, it was almost like a little mini vacation on our way to our next location.
Very peaceful.
Yeah, we're looking forward to dinner.
Of course. Sure. That you'll certainly have to tell me more about that. And she just throw your stuff. Oh, well, we have one of the. Are you going to be staying a while? Do we have to get you rooms? Oh God, we should get you rooms. She looks at Ravane. She's like, why didn't you tell me you were coming? He's like, okay, no, just come with me. And she walks you down to like the other side of the cavern, where you see one of these little stone, and they're all sort of like these little cottages. She's like, well, we don't currently have a mage in here, so it might be a little tight for all of you, but you're welcome to it. And she kind of like jiggles the door handle, and she's like, oh, okay, and pulls at it, and like a little dust spray comes off. She's like, okay, we haven't cleaned it, it's been a year on this cycle, so, but, no, it should be, she sticks her head in. Please, you want to put things down here? I'll get everyone together. You can meet everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Throw mission in a corner.
Great. Yeah, I'll leave you to that. Yeah, just, right at the table. Okay. And she kind of like slaps Ravane again as she walks out, like in this like flurried, like, how dare you not tell me we were bringing guests way.
Sarah looks at him and she's like, you two seem like old friends. How do you guys know each other?
Well, I make a point to familiarize myself with the mages who will live here in a more or a semi-permanent capacity. Madeline has sort of taken on a leadership role at Outpost 7 for, she's been here about 10 years, which is much longer than most mages serve. But, you know, she loves it. Her kids love it. So they just keep living out here.
Oh, familiar yourself, huh?
Kara.
He kind of looks at you. He's like, well, she's not really my type, but she's a very charming woman.
What is your type, would you say?
Kara's glad that Farrah said that. She was absolutely gonna say it.
Let's dish.
Oh, girl.
He looks, he's like, okay, before I get into any trouble here, I'm gonna set us up somewhere else, see if we have another hut available, because he does look like into this kind of cottage room. And so there's like one nice central room that's very sparsely furnished. It's got a nice fireplace that's been swept out. There's no chimney, so you're not really sure what that's for. But just off of this main way, you can see that there's like a little kitchen that's been set up in there, and further back there are 2 bedrooms. This is surprisingly nice. Also extremely advanced in terms of like technology here. You can tell that there's like running water. There's like a box that's set up. You open it up, it's cold inside the box.
Wow.
Ooh.
It's amazing. Yeah, it just seems to radiate cold. It's incredible.
Farrah takes out her flask and she puts it inside the box and pats it.
Yeah.
I love this thing.
I imagine that Arnadell has her like magic detection on
Oh yeah.
and would then tell us also, is this room full of magic?
Yes.
Tell us all the magical things.
Yeah.
All of it.
So this is very clearly a community that has been built by powerful mages, and mages who have a lot of time to spend upgrading their space. So you see, I mean, there is subtle magic woven into everything. The walls, the floors, every appliance you see, the furniture. There are like protective markings over the door. There's like general atmospheric markings in there. And you do like kind of notice, Arndell will read these and you're like, wow, it is like the perfect temperature in this room, you know, and the carpet is just perfectly soft, and the beds seem to adjust to whatever firmness you want. Like it's very magical. Everything.
Oh my god, you guys, this chair molds to my butt perfectly.
Wow.
This is the best.
Yep.
Oh, I want to take this with me. How much room do we have in that bag of holding? Just asking.
You could
for
fit
a friend.
chair. You could fit an armchair. Yes. Yeah, and so once you kind of get, you know, your spots claimed and your stuff down, you do hear that people are sort of bustling outside. Vervain went over to help Madeline kind of set the table. Yeah.
Saya leans over to Kara. Wait, wasn't Vervain the one who had a crush on the Serena?
Yeah, they got like a thing going. Oh, that's his type.
Yeah.
You're
Still
totally
hung up on
boning.
that. Yeah.
That's his
Gotta
type.
work on that.
Powerful, scary,
Yes.
Mysterious.
big tiger.
That's a big cat. Yes. So after we throw our stuff down, we'll head over to the big long community long tables and start chatting with everyone.
Yeah, so you see a few different people have gathered around. So you see Madeline. You see also helping her out is a sort of 2 teenage, preteen level, a boy and a girl who are running around. They're all wearing these like super comfy sort of like, yeah, magey half robe, half jumpsuit sort of things. So they all kind of bear a resemblance, so these might be her kids. You see that there's this like extremely tall Eladrin with a really like heavy dark features, sort of uncharacteristic for an Eladrin, who's kind of, you know, moving around, helping put things together. You see another woman who might be half elf, you think, with an Eladrin man. They seem pretty attached maybe they have some kind of romantic relationship. And then those are all the people that you see who are moving around on top of, Ravain and the rest of the crew. So you know that there are supposed to be at least 10 mages here. But yeah, you only see these people right now. It's still enough to make this cavern feel very homey. They're all super familiar with each other. You can tell people who spend a lot of time together in a small space. And once you all kind of get to your seats, Madeline claps her hands and spreads them over the table, and suddenly food just begins to appear. It fills up all of the empty bowls, and beautiful roasted vegetables and cured meats, and your goblets filled with wine. As she casts, this is going to be a hero's feast that you all can enjoy. So you actually get specific benefits from this as well. Why don't you all tell me something amazing that the spell conjures on the table? This is like a high-level spell that summons a gorgeous meal. So
I love
tell
this spell.
me. Tell me. Paint me food pictures.
So I mean, basically the equivalent of a French fry is pretty common around, you can find it places. But you get those good seasoned Arby fries.
Ooh, yeah.
Show up there they're spiraled and it makes no sense to anyone, but they're delicious for some reason.
I've never
it's
been
just
to Arby's.
What?
No, you have to go. The glowing lights tell you to go to Arby's.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But yeah, seasoned curly fries, and it's just their crisp perfection. And it soaks up any residual alcohol nonsense in the belly.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oh, I also in chat, Wookie-licious. Yes, they all do have butt flaps, like old-timey PJs.
Important question.
Thank you for making me tell the truth. I missed that. Thank you. Yeah,
All
so
will be
they're,
revealed.
oh my god, seasoned curly fries. What else?
Oof.
Tell me what else.
Ooh, there is a dish of scalloped potatoes with cheese.
Oh my gosh, so many potatoes. I love this.
And it's with 3 different kinds of cheese, so that it's super creamy and gooey.
I want poutine.
Poutine wine. Nassim, tell me something beautiful on this table.
I would love to see a meat sculpture.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hell yeah.
Made
that's there.
from all the meats, all put together
All the
with
meats.
this incredible glaze dripping down it.
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
imagine it's sculpted to look like a spell book.
Whoa. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. It's kind
I
of
love
big
it.
spell book.
open and the smoke
You tear
seems
off
to
a
curl.
page.
Yeah.
The steam
like a
curls in
turducken
such a
page.
way that it's like magic coming out of the book. It's very cool. And you can see, as you all start to dig in to this food, Quill has moved towards the entrance of this cavern. It's just kind of stopped and is just staring outward, keeping guard of this cavern. Yeah, so everybody's kind of eating. A lot of people ask you again to recount why your stories, what's going on, and eventually Madeline is like, so I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. I wanted everybody to get settled and eat first, but what brings you out here right now? I mean, this is not a safe time to be traveling across the Chronos, so clearly something important.
Oh, don't we know it? Well, since we're getting into this meat glaze dripping down her face, in her beard.
Yeah.
We have encountered an artifact known as the Avatar, and when we went to find information about it, the library in the University of Phelan was mostly destroyed, and so we've come here to find Anjou, Elodie.
Oh, I see.
I don't like that. Look.
No. And Anjou is she is a lovely part of our community, a valued member of our community, and a powerful mage, and certainly would be able to help you with anything you would want to know if you can convince her to help you.
I'm guessing she's not sitting at this table.
No, Anjou prefers to keep to herself. One of the tunnels off the way, and she points towards one of these caverns that leads off. She likes to stay a little bit away from us. I think she really enjoys her books and her privacy. So I wish you the best in working with her. I'm sure she can help you with whatever you're looking for. I mean, she's absolutely brilliant. The woman just... I've never seen somebody publish so much in my life. In fact, I'm a little bit jealous. We're all a little bit jealous, but that does come with its certainties. She is not running the pylons currently, so she should be there now in her home if you would like to speak with her. Perhaps you can bring her, and she looks at a plate, a little cake. She picks up like one of the little cupcakes that was summoned by the feast.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's get a doggy bag and go.
Yes, and of course you are welcome to stay here for as long as you need. As you can see, well, all our needs are pretty much taken care of. We can certainly put you up for a time. We do have, a few married couples here, so that we do have some space. So, yes, you are absolutely welcome. Again, just when talking to Anjou, I would just urge maybe not pushing her too quickly. I'm still sort of learning how to... Anjou and I have been here the longest. And she was here even before me, but, she doesn't really have any interest in community or anything like that, so...
Well, we, and Fair looks over at Arnadel. We have someone who might speak more of her language, not antisocial, but prefers the company of books from time to time, right, Arnie? And she just kind of like elbows
and
her.
Arnadel's like, thumbs up.
I do have a question for you. Quill didn't seem able to answer us, but apparently there were other living spell books, but they're not around anymore. Did something happen?
Well, in the sort of jolly mood at the table kind of, diminishes a bit as this happens. And she says, well, it requires a great deal of focus and power to maintain the pylons. It also requires a great deal of focus and time to create the living spellbooks. We have had some difficulties maintaining the pylon this year for whatever reason. The arcane energy and focus required has been extraordinary. We're looking into exactly what's going on. In fact, that's something Anjou has taken upon herself to sort of figure out. But a lot of our resources to fend off attacks or to fend off, well, all manner of things have had to be pulled from some places and invested in others. Quill is sort of a, I guess, a low energy model, if that makes any sense. His personality isn't as developed, but his functionality isn't impaired. We had to divert resources away from maintaining these superior constructs and sort of come up with something else, improvise. Anjou was actually the one who created Quill, so perhaps she can explain him a little bit more if that is something you're interested in.
See, yeah, I mean, I don't personally know too much about what sort of energy sources are required to perform that kind of magic, so it just seemed a little concerning when coming in and being told that he was the only one. We've had our own run-in with a living spell book, so we were just, I guess, a little cautious, overly cautious.
They are quite powerful in the capital, though I will say it takes powerful naming mages to create them, so they are sort of a rarity.
See?
Well, yes. Children, Tess, Micah, and she kind of, claps at her two kids that were sitting on either side, and they start running around and cleaning up empty bowls and stuff as everybody seems to kind of stand up and drift around. There's no sense of urgency with these people. They have their shifts that they maintain the pylons apparently somewhere. You do see that there are lots of like passageways leading off of this cavern, so presumably the pylon is down one of these. But Madeline, sort of indicates down the tunnel where you can find Anjou.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Farrah kind of like scoops like a hefty plate of food because she is not going to show up to anybody with one cupcake.
Yeah, no, this is not.
That's not how she operates. You will eat until you feel like you might die.
Yeah. Okay. I will be right back real quick. 1 second.
Okay. So what's our plan here? I'm good with people, but I feel like I don't do well with people who aren't people.
Yeah, I'm also one of those. I mean, I know how to give people their space, but I also really don't know the right kinds of questions to warm up someone like that. But I mean, we have to try. She's our only connection to any of this.
Yeah. So before we go in, let's think about what specifically we want to ask her. I don't think that appealing to her is going to do much. I think that the only thing we can really do is engage her excitement about magic.
Yeah, I think perhaps appeal to her own desire for knowledge. And that's what we're after too. We just need to learn about this thing.
Oh, well, and if she's into knowledge and everything, and if she's working on figuring out what's maybe siphoning power from these arcane devices, I'm sure she'll want to know about the end of the world that we're trying to prevent.
Mm-hmm. If she isn't already aware, but yeah.
And about the gods and what we experienced in the Kronos desert when we went back in time. Mm-hmm. If she wrote about Titans, surely she'd want to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we can have the nice segue. Speaking of Titans, how about that Manetios? Wink, 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 wink.
Yeah. So you're having this conversation as you're leading down this smaller pathway, which leads you into a very quaint little cavern here. You do see it's kind of set up like with its own like lawn, and there's grass and stuff around this slightly bigger cottage that's away from the rest of them, though it's got this very solid looking wooden door that is like firmly closed, and the curtains are like drawn in this building as you kind of make your way up towards it.
Walk up and knock.
A plate of food, first thing to see, a glass of wine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear from the other side, "I'm not interested, Madeline. Go away."
Oh, it's not Madeline. We are representatives of the Sisters of Sorrow, and we're here to ask you a few questions if you have the time to spare.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
My name is Saya Noor.
And
I'm with my companions here, Cara Broomhilda and Farrah Valin.
Mm-hmm.
Valin, yeah.
Valin.
Close enough. It doesn't come up a lot.
And Arnie. She's there too.
And Arnadel Ithil and her pseudo-dragon Alistair.
What are these questions about? And she's still yelling at you from inside the house, not making any effort to open the door.
Well, they're a matter of pretty serious and magical importance. I wouldn't want to say it out here in the hallway.
You're like,
I don't know. Yeah, please.
It's about Titans. And gods and stuff.
And there's like a moment of silence, and then you hear a bolt unsliding from the other side of the door. And as the door opens up, you see standing in front of you a tiefling woman. She has like pale lavender skin and this kind of ring of tiny horns around with this weird brand across one eye. And as she looks at you, you see sort of a silvery glaze to her eyes. And she looks you up and down from all her height of like 5.5 feet. And is like, okay, you can come in, but you have to make it quick. I'm very busy.
Oh, great, we brought food.
She just looks at you and looks at the plate, and she's like, what? I can make food. Whatever. And she like points around the room, and you see that there are a couple like chairs scattered about. Most of them have books and like paper piled up on them. You can see there are books everywhere in this room. Some open like on those kind of reading stands. There are a bunch of like haphazard lamps that have been hung in different places and in different colors. Lots of parchment that has been rolled out covering tables. And this tiefling like sort of moves back into like the kitchen area and throws some papers and gets like a mug, and she sniffs it and then drinks it. Okay. What do you want to know about Titans? What brought you all the way out here for that?
Oh, Paylor on a cracker. All right. Moradin on a matzah. All right. So.
Oh, these mixed metaphors.
All right. So, a individual by the name of Rem, who is the child of Nerul, hired some drow to dig up the wizard sanctum of Menetios and took the avatar. So, this quasi-deity is flying around in the avatar and is going to use it for some ultimate source of destruction. And we went to go research it about how to destroy the avatar, because all of the gods in the universe said find the maker to unmake. And when we found the book about Menetios that you wrote, it got destroyed. And so the mummy Kratos, who's in charge of the archives at the University of Phelan, told us to come here and talk to you.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a lot of people mad at you and chasing you, so you should give me one reason why I should help you, because right now, that does not sound like a great idea.
Because the world will end.
I mean, the world's always ending. Haven't you read a freaking history book?
So you're okay with doing nothing to stop it then?
Oh, it's always some god or other, or titans, or someone, angels, devils, demons. They're all trying to get something to end the world constantly, and it's up to adventurers like yourself to stop it, isn't it?
And that's why the world hasn't ended. So, but if you want to solve your problem about what's siphoning magic off from the pylons, I'm pretty sure these things are connected.
Yeah, do you have any evidence for that connection?
No, because I just learned about it. And she like throws her fist down and is like looks at Farah and is just like just angry, glaring, like, fine, I'll shut up before I make things worse.
Maybe we can do like some kind of there's no diplomacy?
Persuasion.
Persuasion to be like, well, maybe the evidence, all you really need is to know that if this thing can destroy gods, do not get your source of power from these gods. Should your god or your source of energy be taken from you, what will you have left?
I am beholden to no gods. It is my business to know the names of things and get control over them. I feel quite confident that whatever mess is coming for the world, I will be able to survive it. So again, I'm not really sure why I should help you. You come into my house and start making demands of me, saying it's going to be my fault if the world ends, and you haven't even explained what I can even possibly help you with. Yes, I wrote a book cataloging some of these titans. I could give you general information about them, but if you've looked at the book, it's all in there. I don't really know how else I can help you.
Oh my god, Kara throws up her hands in fury.
The book was destroyed. We couldn't do any more research, which is the reason why we're here. We aren't demanding anything of you, but we would love your help. We are already here, so the risk has been taken. And we would just like to remind you that the world is full of millions of other people besides you who probably won't survive on their own.
And doesn't it irk you that all the work that you do here is getting siphoned off? If you haven't been able to figure it out yet, this is our next step to figuring that out, and we could help you get to the bottom of this.
She looks between the three of you and is like, all right, so you're not going to leave, huh, until I give you something, is what I'm getting from this conversation.
All
Farrah
we want...
this great grin, and she's like, no!
You're the reason we're here.
All we want is information on Menetios and maybe where they're located or anything, because you are the only source of information in the world.
Well, all right. Menetios was a titan, an accomplished mage and artificer in her own right. She made several remarkable artifacts, some of which now persist today as the form of things like bags of holding, all kinds of just stuff that we take for granted. She was a genius, quite honestly. But then, of course, the gods overthrew the titans. Most of them were slain. Menetios was one of the ones who stuck around longer. It's a little bit of a question mark why. Perhaps she made a deal with the gods. Who knows? But she stuck around, and then she apparently made this avatar, perhaps. All I knew is that it was some kind of powerful object, pissed off the gods, and she disappeared from this material plane. So
Kara's eyes get really big when it says disappeared from the material plane.
Yes, so she is certainly not here anymore. If she had died, we would probably find her body somewhere. I mean, titans are huge. That kind of power vacuum would be felt.
Kara has epiphany also, on her face, lights up, and she's like, okay, wait. Go with me here on this. So Menetios
I refuse to do that. But you can explain whatever you would like.
Oh, Lord. Farrah just starts eating off of the plate of food she brought for this woman.
She sips her nasty coffee from under paper.
Kara, waves it off and is just like, okay, so an arcane puzzle that may or may not be interesting to you. So Menetios can't be scryed upon by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
From any god. Do you think that there is a way that we could work around that? Because, quite honestly, scouring the cosmos is not really a great prospect.
Okay, so what, you want me to scry on Menetios?
If you could do it, if you could tell us how... And maybe if you have an idea how, then we could try it later.
Let me ask you something. Say you can find this Menetios. What are your intentions when you confront this titan? What's your plan there? This is a nigh unstoppable being who can create amazing objects, has managed to hide from gods. So what exactly what's your plan for that meeting, that scenario? Just tell me your best case.
I don't think we intend to confront this person face to face. I think our intentions of scrying or learning their whereabouts would just simply tell us more of this Titan, of this being, of their magical abilities and what they've created. We don't even know how to approach this. We're trying to get information to help us form a plan. And I mean, if we can't even scry on them, maybe even just some sources. If has anyone done some kind of study on the work they've done, on the things they've created, and the means and the sources that they use to create the magical artifacts that she did make?
That information is largely lost. What we do know from Menetios has come from the very few records they didn't destroy or leave behind. A lot of their treasures, their home, everything was taken with them. I suspect to some kind of pocket portal or dimension that they created. That would certainly be within their power as a powerful wizard. So I suspect that they are hiding with all their secrets in this place.
That would make sense. But I mean, look, the gods said we gotta find the maker to unmake him. By the gods, I will do it. But I mean, what does it really matter to you? We're just a ragtag bunch of adventurers.
That's true. I have very much to lose in this scenario, whereas you have nothing to lose. You are standing on the precipice of dangerous knowledge, and I'm trying to decide what to do with you all.
I just want to know how we can stop this thing, and the only thing I plan to do is to ask the Titan. I have no intention of killing them.
I will help you have a conversation with Menetios if you promise to submit to a little spell that will guarantee that you can never tell anyone that I gave you this knowledge. And then you have to promise to leave and never bother me again.
Kara shrugs and nods.
It'd be
Wouldn't
our
want
pleasure.
to.
Good, I'm busy. She goes and like kind of looks at her library shelves that ring this room here, and she pulls down from like a high shelf this kind of like thick like crimson bound tome that she pulls down and kind of dusts off, and there's no words or anything on this book. There is a symbol of this like winding circle that as you look inside of it, it's just like all of these lines and lines and lines forming a maze on the cover. And she hands this book off to you. If you can successfully figure this out, read this key, I think you can see Menetios. But you didn't hear it from me.
Can I make like an Arcana check on this book?
Sure.
To kind of see what the fuck this is. Okay, that's a 13 plus 9, so 22.
Yeah, I mean, so you're looking at this book, and I mean, it just feels, leather-bound book. You really wouldn't notice, in any other situation. But yeah, this maze on the cover, and you flip through each of the pages, and they each have their own maze that gets more and more complicated as you flip through the book. And they all, have their start points and their end points, and they're just these like magnificent, spiraling, complicated like labyrinths that fill these pages. So it's not like any kind of spell book or anything you've ever seen. It sort of reminds maybe you, Saye, of like how they would use like Zen gardens or like pathways for like meditation. Sometimes mazes can be like a way into deeper thought. They're like symbolic of finding your way and your purpose by taking the time and like walking through these mages. Huh?
Nothing. Sage has a feeling.
A feeling, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just this unlabeled book of mazes that she hands over to you.
Does she intend for us to sit there and figure it out with her, or are we like leaving with it?
She seems
No, she
she seems eager for you to leave.
Oh, okay. Cool. Then I guess thanks. Did she put us under the spell already?
You don't know.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you. And we know you're very busy. Thank you for at least listening to us.
Ish.
Yeah. She goes, "You are welcome, Saye Nor." And as she says it back in your own voice. And it's very jarring as she repeats it in the exact tonality that you said it when you introduced yourself outside.
Oh. Okay. I'm the first. I walk out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to stay a second longer.
Oh yeah.
All right, later. Thanks for the book. Farrah just kind of like waves it around.
Yep. And the door closes behind you all, and you hear a bolt move across it.
Well, she's just awful.
Madeline doesn't know how to talk to her at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that she doesn't get on with people or people just don't want to be around her.
Why not both?
A subtle combination of the two.
Thanks for the book. Kara yells back as she realizes we're all shit talking her in front of her own house.
Like standing in her porch, like, yeah, bitch.
I'm not whispering.
I am still walking. I have not stopped.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go back to our little villa or cottage or whatever it was, house that they gave us, and study the thing for a while.
Yeah, you can definitely all kind of cozy up on the cabin floor. What exactly are you doing with this book? You have a book of mazes that's unlabeled. There's no text, nothing in it.
Well, right away, I make a pot of tea because we need that while
Yeah.
we're staring at a bunch of mazes. We got to get zen while we're doing this. So
So
I
you
make
open
some
up,
calming tea.
like, there's like this little drawer thing, like that's labeled tea. And every time you open it up, there's a different blend of tea inside.
Oh my God, I
amazing.
want
And
this.
if
I
you
want this
want
drawer.
something in particular, you open it up and you're like, oh my God, that's the chamomile blend. I had that one time when I was 8 and I remember the smell.
Amazing. Okay, I'm gonna grab
The
a
best.
chamomile and then like some yerba mate and
Oh,
blend
yeah.
the two together. By the
Ooh.
way, it's really good. You should do that.
Do it.
And I'll make a nice pot of tea from both. It's both calming and energizing.
Yes.
I feel like Farrah just sits like looking at the book while you do this, and like when you come over with the teapot, she holds up her mug for tea and then immediately moves it over to Kara for whiskey. She's like just flipping through looking at these mazes.
Oh yeah. So once we're all got our tea, we're sitting down. I will probably just stare and stare at the maze until something starts to pop out at me, as if I'm like walking through it in my head, like I would at the gardens, in the temples I visited.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead? I want some kind of check from you as you are walking through this kind of meditative exercise. So what skill do you think Saya would be using and like kind of channeling as she...
I would say religion, though more through like a spiritual lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and roll a religion check.
Oh, dang it. Well, 14.
You have inspiration.
And I'm going to use my inspiration.
Take off that crown.
Boop. 25.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. So you all are sort of staring. I imagine you all sitting like kind of in a circle with this book open on the floor and kind of all staring at it. And so as you're, moving through the mazes, it's hard at first. It's certainly an exercise in extreme focus to also like see yourself moving through these mazes. But as you do, and as you visualize yourself there and walking this path, it gets easier and easier as you move through the pages of this book, which grow ever more complicated. You realize, and at first it's frustrating and it's hard to get into, but after a while you realize it's almost like a game. It's training you to learn how to navigate these more and more complicated mazes. And there's this rhythm to it that you sort of start to fall into, so much so that you almost like physically see yourself moving through these ashen walls of this maze on either side of you, surrounded by these trees that maybe they're made of stone or ash. It's so hard to tell, but everything is kind of in this gray and like stone, weird, barren world. And you almost begin to see these flickers of like a green sky somewhere up above you, and you're really in the zone as this is happening. And I think Farah and Kara, you see that Saya is just gone, like somewhere else as she's flipping through the pages of this book. When the two of you, Farah and Kara, begin to hear from outside somebody yelling, you think it's Quill's voice, as he calls out, "To arms! To arms! The undead, they're coming in droves just outside, to arms."
Fucking Ram.
And that's where we're gonna end today's episode.
I'm excited for a fight next time.
You know what I'm gonna do for the first time as a cleric? I'm gonna turn undead.
Whoa!
Because I can do that.
I always forget when I play a cleric that I can do that. It's like the big thing, but I always forget.
It's such a niche thing, though, because like you're not always fighting undead.
Very campaign dependent.
Yeah, especially at higher levels. I feel like that's not always a big thing. Yeah. I also, since we did create our objective, we got across the desert, we're having kind of a rest. I want you all to level up as well.
Oh my god.
Oh my
So
god.
before we
We're
go into
so
next
powerful.
game, you all are going to be level 14.
Oh my god, Farah, can you fly now?
I can fucking fly. I get eagle wings.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
last like forever until I'm unconscious.
That's insane and
Eagle
awesome.
wings.
Crazy.
Okay.
Time to update my hero forge.
Yay.
Mini.
So we made it. We met super nice Anjou Elodie, who is
Malady.
I don't know. You don't know that. That's not her name. Yeah, but thank you all so much for being here. So exciting. We leveled. We're about to get into some stuff. Yay. Oh gosh, we have to pull our winner.
We do. I was just about to say, are we ready to see who wins this wonderful, beautiful
Whoa.
dice?
Yes, and do they have to claim it also? So you have to be here in
They
the chat.
do.
And then you'll get a message, and then you have to claim it. We're drawing the dice. Who wins? Who wins?
Growligator!
Growligator! Hello!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
They're so
Water
pretty.
walk.
You are so lucky.
Water walk, yes. So go ahead and whisper us, friend. Let us know you're here. And give us your address so we can mail you some amazing dice. Yay, Growligator! Yes! Yes, really! Congratulations!
Well, your DM magic on them.
Good. I will clean them before I send them, though, because pandemic. Sorry, I should not have done that. I'll Lysol the crap out of these and then send them to you. Thank you all so much for being here. This was a great episode. I'm very excited for what's going to happen next. I wish I could tell you, but I will next week, I guess. I have been your Dungeon Master, Celeste Conowitch.
Oh, right. I'm Katie. I played Farah Valen, the Tiefling Sorceress.
I'm Nassim Etemad, and I am your rejuvenated, both body and soul, human monk, Sayanur.
And I'm Sage, your battle-ready barbarian cleric.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, thank you all so much for being here. Let's see, what's going on this week? Catch us Friday for the finale of our Dragon Age campaign, Friday at 6 p.m. So Sage will be closing out that campaign. So definitely stop in for that. And Jeff, definitely check out on Sunday. Nassim has her new time slot, 11 a.m. Pacific time, playing games. What are you going to be playing this week? Do you know?
Well, we're finding our dream daddy right now.
Yay, it's still Dream Daddy.
Yes!
It's the time. It's a
time.
sexy time.
It's a sexy
Who's
time.
your pick right now? Who's your main?
Oh, I
Who's your
love
main?
Matt right now. I
Oh.
think he's
He's
just
hot.
so cute. I think he's my favorite.
Wait, which one is Matt?
He's the coffee shop owner.
Coffee shop guy.
And his daughter's super cute.
Oh my gosh.
I like Goth Daddy. Not that I remember his name,
Goth
but
Daddy.
I like his.
I was excited for Goth Daddy, but then his son is a little.
His son's the worst.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh gosh. Yeah.
He's older though, so I was like, he's going to college or moving out soon.
Yeah, so I won't have to deal with that.
Yeah, with the picture.
Yeah, so
But yeah.
that's everywhere you can find us this week. And of course, catch us Wednesday. We'll be back here with Descent to Avernus at 7 p.m. Oh, wow, you all great. And you know what you should do until next time?
Venture away!
Venture away, everybody! Goodbye, Pineapple.
Goodbye.
Bye.